Today, we're going to count down the top 10 upcoming primary races for governor. So we're looking for states that are going to have some action, but they can't be for one side that's going to have the opposite party dominating in the general. So even if it's a red or blue state, there could still be a big battle in the primary. So I've got 10 of these. I tried to do them in order of significance, but you're going to have different criteria. I did have to leave out about 3 or 4 states that I wanted to include. So we're going to go quick through these, not going to spend a lot of time. Let's start with number 10. And who doesn't love to kick things off with Rhode Island? Now, this is a blue state, but the reason this is on here is because there is action here for the Democrats. And it actually might not even be that competitive, but it's still notable because incumbent Democrat Dan McKee is highly in danger of losing his job. He's getting a challenge from Helena Foulkes. His popularity, if you're not aware, it's been completely in the toilet. And the polling here shows McKee trailing by almost about 20%. Dems should win this easily in the general, but if you're looking at the primary, here's Polymarket. McKee is only at 21%, Foulkes is at 71. So an incumbent actually going down, that's notable. That's why this takes the 10 spot. Number 9 is a red state. It's South Dakota for the Republicans. There's a pretty big multi-way battle here for this GOP nomination. Now, Larry Roden took over for Kristi Noem after she stepped down, and he's in the running, but he's also getting a challenge from U.S. Rep. Dusty Johnson. And if you look at the rest of this polling, there's still 2 other candidates polling at least 17%. So that's a lot of action here for a red state. Johnson has a bit of a polling edge here. If we get on Polymarket, Johnson is up there. He's over 70%, and incumbent Larry Roden is way down there at just 5. So another technical incumbent probably not going to be headed back into the governor's mansion. Number 8 is Kansas, and this is going to be for the Republican side. Dems technically hold that office right now, 2 terms of it, but the Republican side has a whole ton of candidates here. And there's also a former governor trying to get back in. That's Jeff Collier. So way too many candidates, and there's actually 0 polling here on Wikipedia. So if we get onto the markets, we can see that Ty Masterson, state senator, he's in the lead, but he's only at 39%. Former Governor Jeff Collier is right behind at 37. So this could get heated as Republicans try to flip this state back from 2 terms of Democratic rule. Number 7 is for the Dems, and it's in Maine. This is an open seat. There could be some competition in the general, but the action right now is on the primary side for the Dems. Technically 5 at least semi-notable candidates in this race. A lot of endorsements here, but take a look at this polling. Dr. Nirav Shah, he's in the lead. He's at about 30%, and he's actually beaten back 2 other notable Maine family names. Hannah Pingree's mother is in the U.S. House. Angus King III, of course, his dad is the U.S. Senator. So you think with that kind of power, it'd be one of those 2 in the lead. But just like in South Dakota, there's also 2 other candidates polling at above 15% here. So there's a lot of action here. If we get on Polymarket, we've got Shah in the lead at 45%. Second place is still not Pingree or King. It's former state senator Troy Jackson at 26. Now keep in mind there is ranked choice voting here for this primary. So a lot going on here to succeed Janet Mills. Here's number 6. We've got Alaska. It's another state with ranked choice voting. There's a top 4 primary here. So there's a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. Everybody's going to be on one ballot. Got a lot of Republicans here. Then, of course, for the Dems, you've got a Begich running, and this time it's Tom Begich. So this is kind of a mess. It's tough to follow. If you go down here and take a look at the polling, there's not a lot of it. It's not the easiest state to poll, but Tom Begich is in the lead with 21. Then the other candidates, including most of the Republicans, in single digits. A large chunk still undecided. To get a little bit of clarity, sometimes you got to see where people are putting their money. Here's Polymarket. This asks who's going to advance to the general. So again, there's going to be 4 of them. And right now you've got Tom Begich, Bernadette Wilson, Click Bishop, and Jonathan Christ Tompkins. But again, I think this raises more questions than answers. Either way, this is going to be a pretty juicy primary. Number 5 is Michigan. This is going to be for the Republicans. And if we go down here, this race has kind of heated up as of late. It seemed like John James was the sure thing, but lately he's been facing some heat from Perry Johnson. I didn't really see that coming. Johnson is just way older. It's true, he's kind of an outsider. But James seemed like the likable, well-established guy to make another run here for statewide office. But look at this polling. James started off relatively strong. Now he's sank down into the 30s. Meanwhile, Perry Johnson is not too far behind. He's in the 20s. If you get on Polymarket, it's almost tied. James is at 46. Johnson is at 40. Whoever wins this nomination could be in a 3-way battle for governor in November. Let's do number 4. This is neighboring Wisconsin. This is going to be for the Dems. We've got candidates here, a ton of them. If you just want to cut to the chase, we could go down here past the endorsements. You've got campaign finance, and then you've got some polling. Francesca Hong, she kind of came out of nowhere. She's leading some of these polls, but it's not by a ton. She's a state rep, and she could be going up against former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. He took that loss to Ron Johnson in 22, but he's also lost a little bit on his polling. Now he's down under 20%. On top of that, there's a whole slew of other candidates. And the thing is, this is an open seat. One of them likely to face Republican Tom Tiffany in the general election. It's a blue-leaning environment, but it could still be highly competitive. Here's the Polymarket. Barnes is in the lead at 50%. Hong is at at 33. You've even got Sarah Rodriguez at 14. So there's some high stakes here in this purple state. Let's do number 3. We've got the big one. It's California. This one not too far away. It's at the beginning of June. And it is a top 2 blanket primary. So we've got to go down here and take a look at the polling. It's a pretty blue state, should not be that competitive in the general, but that's assuming it's not 2 Republicans advancing. Right now, it looks like they're pretty fairly likely to have one. That's Steve Hilton. He's actually in the lead here above everybody at about 1%. The big question is who's going to be the other candidate. Former AG Javier Becerra has kind of came out of nowhere over the past month. He's the more establishment figure, and he could be battling for that number 2 spot with Tom Steyer. He's the more progressive candidate, but there's still a whole bunch of other candidates in this race, so let's get on to the markets. As far as who's going to advance, we've got Hilton at 70, Becerra at 68, Steyer is at 53. It's way, way down from there. So it looks like it's going to be 2 of these 3 candidates. More likely it's going to be Hilton, and then we see what's going to happen. Is it going to be more establishment, more outside progressive with Steyer? It's the most populous state. It's a significant race given it's an open seat. So definitely a high-profile race here in California. Let's go to number 2. Here's South Carolina. Now, this is on the Republican side. It's more of a red state and not too likely to be competitive in the general. But there's also a handful of candidates here running. A year ago, it looked like Nancy Mace might be the easy frontrunner, but she's got heavy competition from some other statewide officials. Take a look at the polling. It's all over the place. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette is in the lead. You've got Alan Wilson, the AG. He's leading some of these polls. It's really all over the place. It's a pure coin flip. If we head over to the markets, we've got Yvette in the lead at 40. Alan Wilson at 25. Mace is at 15. Can't forget about Ralph Norman. He's at 12. So this is really tough to make a prediction on, but it's going to be exciting to see what happens. Now let's go to number 1. This is the race happening tomorrow. This is Georgia. This is number 1 because it's a purple state. It's going to be highly, highly competitive in the general. And there's also some action on both sides in the primary. Much more of the action is going to be on the Republican side. It's kind of turned into a two-way race here between Burt Jones, the lieutenant governor, and Rick Jackson, the billionaire businessman outsider. Now, the thing about this race is Burt Jones has the Donald Trump endorsement. You'd think that'd be enough to get it done, but Rick Jackson, take a look at this. He's raised $83 million. He's able to do self-funding, and it's translated into some of the polling. He got in late, but he's actually in the lead in more of these polls. But it is highly competitive. They both like Trump. I don't think there's a big question about that. But if the Trump-endorsed candidate loses, that could be a blemish for Trump. So this looks like it's going to be a pretty big race, both in the primary and in the general. Now for the Dems, they've got some action, but it's a lot less. Former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, she's clearly in the lead, but the question with her is she going to hit 50% to avoid a runoff? Even if she doesn't, she'd be likely to win it. But let's see what we've got here on Poly Market for the GOP side. Rick Jackson in the lead, but only by a little bit. He's at 55, Burt Jones at 42. And you can see here, going back a few months, Burt Jones clearly in the lead. Rick Jackson surged. He came out of nowhere. And he could be the GOP nominee in this very critical battleground state. So a lot of action here. That's my top 10 upcoming primary races for governor. And in some of these battles, it really could determine the ideological direction of the state. Sometimes it's more establishment versus hard left or right, or sometimes it just comes down to personality, or some smaller differences on some more nuanced issues. There's a few states that were close calls on here, like Colorado or Florida, Iowa, Oklahoma, and New York. But that's what I've got for my top 10. What are your top 10? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.